Hello everyone, I'm here again, fresh from the Stories Oven. I'm just thrilled to bring you the second short story of the Faith Plus project. This one is kinda special for me because it's a little bit subjective. It's not exactly very explanatory, but the kind of story you just feel it. Well, at least that's for me. If you feel something or not, please let me know in the comments below. Also, please don't forget to give me a thumbs in any direction you'd like. That's a great feedback for the YouTube platform. I'd like to remember you before we start that you can already get all the videos of this story with a full-length audio version and the original text I'm reading right now by going on my Ko-Fi profile and buying me a coffee. Also, if you don't know what this story is about, check the description below. There's a summary there. And so, with no further ado, let's go. Faith Plus, a great secret. The morning was a bit too dark that day. It was the heavy clouds hanging in the sky right above her that gave the day that extra feeling of loneliness. Millie was going to a place where some monks offered people some escape from everyday life. It was a brilliant idea from Martha, her friend. Martha had been there before some time ago, and she just came back another completely different person. All positive, all light, all energetic. Millie didn't really dislike that new behavior, but the anguish she saw in her own eyes when she faced the mirror after seeing the new happiness of her friend was a little too much for her, so she promised herself she would never want what was not meant for her again in her life. But after the last events in Millie's life, Martha basically shoved the monks in at her, promising they had exactly what Millie was looking for there. And Millie, on her side, was 100% doubting that, because she was actually looking for something that was missing in her life. Some reason to don't explode the world before World War III ever could? Yeah, something I like. Well, she went anyway. Her empty home after her mother's death was way more scarier than going out to be bored to death by monks in the woods. At the main gate, she found herself being received by a nun, which was pretty positive, giving her a nice smile and lavender smell, and a lot of thoughtful gestures like offering tea, cookies, a nice seat, and all the treats she asked for. But the nun's look was a little bit off by what Millie was expecting. She thought about beach clothes, or orange uniforms, or even black and white stuff. Well, that nun was all in white, and coming to think of it, for an inn at the middle of a pine forest, it was not exactly wise to be all in white. But they said she could dress whatever she intended to, so it was really a relief. And by the way, that nun really had an impressive unspotted wise there. Really a major deed for Millie's eyes. Alright, we've chatted a lot already. I guess I should officially say, welcome to the inn, Millie, the nun stated. So after all, what are you here for? Just to rest, I suppose? Yeah, not really not. I'm just leaving my home to deal with some personal issues before a serious breakdown. Millie looked down to her feet. Doctor's order, actually, so a friend of mine recommended to do it here. I see, the nun mistakenly replied. Really common here, actually. We have all kinds of people coming here to find their sweet spot. Might I ask you, just for curiosity, who's your friend that sent you our way? Her name is Martha Haberton? Millie said, kinda like it was a question, because she didn't know if she had put her friends in trouble judged by the nun's tone of voice. Oh, Martha Haberton, was the reply though. I know her, it's been a while since she was here. But honestly, we went out last week for a catch-up, And the nun winked at Millie. Well, but just so we can make things really suitable for you here and try our best to accommodate you, would it be too impolite if I asked you if anything happened recently, or if this is just a general recommendation of your doctor? Actually, yes, I can tell you, Millie was replying, but the nun quickly added before she could say any more. But there's no need to feel pressured about it. It's just really so we can know how to help you get better. We don't want to accidentally poke a hurting spot on you or make things even worse. But sometimes exposing the very spot is in a way poking it. So please don't share anything you don't feel comfortable to tell us, yours truly, completely strangers. Millie laughed a little at the last words. Ah, come on, it's nothing like that really, she said. It's just that I don't really feel like I'm going in a good direction with my life. I don't know, have you ever felt like nothing makes sense? Everything is too hard, and sometimes not getting out of bed seems the best option of all, but the least possible one. That's the kind of life I'm having since forever, and it's just getting worse. Millie, do I know how you feel? I've been in prison for a crime I didn't commit since I was 17, and was only liberated years after that. Still guilty if you were to ask my judge. Oh, gosh, that's terrible. Millie was somewhat frozen in the spot. I didn't really thought a nun would have such a background. But then again, there's always someone in a worse spot than us, right? Guess it's life's way of keeping us going, I don't know. Right you are, there's always someone who's having a tougher day. But not here in this inn. We make sure everyone let their suffering outside the walls so people can really relax here. And enjoy the forest, of course. Come on, let's get you accommodated. And after that, Millie and Miss Signa, the nun, went over what would be her dormitory for the next week. Really a nice place. If you were the nature kind of person, Millie was almost the kind of person. The only real problem was that she was really afraid of any bugs that could pop out of nowhere in the middle of the night and get in her bed. Now that would be traumatic. This one thought aside, she laid down on the bed and just was there until someone would knock at her door inviting her for lunch. It was just another nun who invited her to have lunch, like the 8th nun she'd seen so far, so she couldn't help herself but ask, "Sorry about being questioning, but I thought it was a monk's inn here. But so far I only saw ladies are around. Is this just a nun's initiative or something alike?" "Oh, the male people, you ask? Well, it just happened you didn't see anyone." And the nun had to laugh a little with herself. "But we're going to the dining hall for lunch. I'm sure you'll find a bunch of them there. By the way, Nora," she presented herself. "Millie," she replied, "pleasure to meet you." And the nun smiled back at her. After all, Millie really felt dumb by asking that question too early. She entered the dining hall, and there they were, the male people, as Nora said. And actually, the hall was way more full than she expected to be. It's not like that Monk's Inn was really an easy place to find out. But Millie was not exactly feeling sociable that noon, and sat alone in a corner of the table, losing Nora for a bunch of her friends. After a while, though, she saw another person sit in front of her. It was Miss Signa again, the coordinator of the building, as far as Millie could tell. She was not surprised by the fact that the nun sat there, but she got annoyed by that attitude. Miss Signa said, "I'm sorry to interrupt your lunch, but I thought that I should tell you something. Thank you so much for watching or hearing this first episode of A Great Secret. Please give it a like before you see the next part, or a dislike for me to know that you're dropping this one. Yet, if you want to see what happens next before everyone, Basketball Michael Fly, link below, and get you all the videos I'm gonna upload beforehand, the full audio version of it, along with the original text I wrote. All of that for the price of a coffee. Also, you can find there the latest story, so you will help me grow double deal. Thanks again, and see you in the next part.